We'll start the second part of Unit 13, The World of Life. In the first part, I discussed about the three domain classification and you learnt about domain archaea and domain bacteria. Today we'll start with domain eukarya. This domain consists of eukaryotic organisms, that means they have organized nuclei with membranes or nuclear envelopes. They have the ability to live in different environments. And remember, these organisms in domain eukarya are not sensitive to antibiotics. If you can remember, we mentioned that domain archaea is also not sensitive to antibiotics, but the organisms of domain bacteria were sensitive to antibiotics. And here, domain eukarya, again the organisms are not sensitive to antibiotics. There are four kingdoms belonging to this domain. They are kingdom Protista, kingdom Fungi, kingdom Plantae, and kingdom Animalia. So first we'll consider the two kingdoms, kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi. Here you are given a comparison between those two kingdoms. First we'll consider the examples for the two kingdoms. There you are given kingdom Protista consists of algae and protozoa. So examples of algae: Chlamydomonas, Chlorella, Ulva, Spirogyra. These come under green algae. In addition to that, there are brown algae, red algae, as well as diatoms and kelp, the giant seaweeds. Then examples for protozoans, as you all know about amoeba, paramecium, euglena, and plasmodium. These are the examples for kingdom Protista. Remember, it consists of two groups, algae and protozoa. Then kingdom Fungi, some of the examples are given. In Unit 8 also I mentioned that mushrooms are reproductive structures of fungi. So there is a special group which we call as agaricus. And yeast, you all know, it's known as Saccharomyces, Mucor, and Penicillium are some of the examples for fungi. You can find so many other examples. Then we are moving on to the structure of Protista. They are either unicellular or multicellular, and they don't have any tissue differentiation. Their body is, now you know what differentiation is. So they don't have any tissue differentiation. Then the fungi, they are also either unicellular or multicellular. The special feature is that they have a cell wall which is made out of chitin. That is what we call as the chitinous cell wall. And they also don't have a tissue differentiation. Then we'll move on to the habitats of these two groups. Kingdom Protista are living. They inhabit environments associated with water. When we say water, it may be either marine, fresh water, or damp soil, wet soil. Then they live in and on the bodies of other organisms as well, because there are certain parasites as well. And once you take kingdom Fungi, they are living on organic matter. For example, you have seen mushrooms growing on a decaying log of wood. Then they are also living in and on organisms, especially on the bodies of living organisms. They are very rare in aquatic environments. So you know some of the fungal diseases, the skin diseases are caused by those fungi. And also you have seen the fungal growth on food as well as on wooden structures also. Then if we consider the nutrition of Protista, Algae are autotrophic and protozoans are heterotrophic. When we say heterotrophic, in Unit 8 you learnt different types of nutrition, modes of nutrition. So there may be symbiotic relationships. Then parasites are also available like Plasmodium. And there are predators also coming under this group. And when we take fungi, they all are heterotrophic. They show a saprophytic mode of nutrition. So I explained who are the saprophytes or what is saprophytic mode of nutrition in Unit 8. They are bacteria or fungi are considered as the major decomposers. In saprophytic nutrition, what fungi do is they secrete enzymes and they decompose these organic matter externally and they absorb the nutrients. Then when we take the body shape of these protists, they are either leaf-like. For example, when we take ulva, there is a leaf-like shape, and then horseshoe-shaped varieties and different other shapes can be observed. Fungi may consist of single spherical cells. Sphere is round shape, and the fungal mycelium, in Sinhala we call it as Dilira Jalaya, mycelium, fungal mycelium can also be observed. White color hyphae. Then finally we'll consider about the reproduction of protists and fungi. Both perform asexual reproduction. When it comes to kingdom Protista, they exhibit binary fission. Binary is 2, so the body is divided into 2 parts, and fragmentation, the bodies are fragmented, and spore production is also seen in kingdom Protista. Spores are minute, typically one-celled reproductive unit which is capable of giving rise to new individuals without sexual fusion. There is no fertilization taking place. Those are single cells, and we consider them as reproductive units. And fungi also, the main mode of reproduction is spore production. Then we'll move on to the uses of protists. First, we can say they are the primary producers in aquatic environments. So algae play a main role because the aquatic environments are huge living environments, and their algae perform an important role as primary producers because they can carry out photosynthesis. As the second importance or the use, we can say that algae form symbiotic relationships or symbiotic association with fungi to form lichens. If you can remember, I mentioned about lichens in Unit 8. So a lichen is a symbiotic relationship in between algae and fungi or cyanobacteria and fungi. So algae are important to make those lichens, and it is also a part of the biosphere. Then to extract agar to prepare culture media to grow bacteria. Again, these protists become important. Protists means they are again algae become important to prepare agar. Agar is a culture medium which is used to grow bacteria for experiments. It is a semi-solid medium once we dissolve it in hot water and cool down, it becomes a semi-solid medium, a jelly-like medium. And another interesting feature is that these are used to extract alginic acid to make ice cream. It is another importance or use of protists, especially algae. And there are certain harmful effects also. The most harmful effect of protozoans is causing diseases to humans. Some of the diseases are mentioned here. Amoebiasis caused by entamoeba histolytica, and malaria caused by plasmodium, sleeping sickness caused by trypanosoma pallidum. There are diseases caused by protozoans that becomes a harmful impact of protozoans. Then we'll move on to the uses of fungi. Fungi also, once we talk about these, you may think that they cause most of the harmful impacts, but they have lot of uses. There are so many important facts regarding these fungi also. As the first thing we can say, they are used as a supplementary for protein. Example, mushroom. And the vegetarians, especially for vegetarians, that is a good source of proteins, supplementary for proteins, mushroom. Then the second use, bread and alcohol fermentation by using yeast, and to produce antibiotics, for example penicillin, which is produced by Penicillium notatum. Then as the fourth factor, under bacteria also I mentioned decompose organic matter, because bacteria and fungi are the main decomposers. Then for medicinal research also these fungi become important, and they are also important as natural pesticides, because some fungi attack insects. Therefore, they are useful as natural pesticides, and they form symbiotic relationships such as lichens. And finally, we'll consider the harmful effects of fungi. So they cause diseases to plants and animals, the so-called aluhum, pityriasis versicolor by Candida species, and potato late blight by Phytophthora varieties. And they cause food spoilage. Fungal mycelia you may have seen grown on bread, fruits, sometimes even on rice. So fungal mycelia can be seen, they cause food spoilage. As the third harmful effect, fungi cause deterioration of economically important structures like wooden furniture, statues, and sometimes the leather products, bags, shoes, and all. So you can think of some of more important facts regarding these organisms as well as harmful impacts. So you are free to find more information and complete your note. So I thought of finishing the second part also here. So far we have discussed the classification of organisms, the importance of classification, methods of classification, and we started to discuss about natural classification system. Under that we were discussing about the 3-domain classification. There we have finished discussing about domain archaea and domain bacteria, and in this clip we discussed about kingdom Protista and kingdom Fungi, which are coming under domain Eukarya. In the next part, the third part, I wish to discuss about kingdom Plantae.